updated with the guidelines, because the guidelines change every day, almost every day, and it looks different in different areas. I think your responsibility to be updated and also share this information with your community and make sure that they understand what are the guidelines, because since it's changing all the time and sometimes it's not very clear, what is still open, what's closed, what are the gathering guidelines? Is it okay to meet friends? Is it okay to go outside? And I could speak to King County in Washington, but it might look different in other counties or outside of Washington. But I think everybody's talking about social distance, and I think that it's really important to know why we want to keep the social distance, because I think for adults and also for kids, it really helps to know why. Sometimes when you know why, it makes sense and it's easier to keep it when you understand why is this guideline given to you. So I think it's important to communicate with your community that the social distance is to slow down the spread of the disease, and the thinking behind it is that the healthcare system will be able to provide care to everybody if we slow down the spread of this disease. And I'm sure you can explain it, caregivers could explain it to kids, and we will share some information of how to talk with kids. And we have this information in a few languages, and we're still working in childcare resources. We're still working on translating it to other languages as well. We currently have it in English and Arabic, but I hope that in the next few days we'll have it in more languages.
I'm just letting it run in the background so I can say listen to it. Nationwide, what are we doing about that? We have to pay by the end of the day.
I don't know who is talking, but not on mute. I really appreciate if you mute yourself. Thank you.
That's like, why would I don't need to know that.
And it's really important to understand that social distance, the guidance of social distance is not social isolation. And it really is important to stay in touch. Thankfully, oh, there's a question. Will you have a link to these graphics? Yes, we're going to share it with you, of course. So it's really, thankfully, in those days, we have the opportunity to stay in touch, even if we're not physically seeing each other. Yeah, maybe this graphic will help a little bit to explain to families what is safe and that they should stay in touch with each other, but what is safe when you want to stay in touch, what you need to take caution about, and what you should avoid. Any questions right now?
No, not really. This is Sucheta from IAWW, KP and L. Sorry. Would you like us to share as to what we have been doing and what is working and what has worked so far? would you like me to share it, or it's okay and it's just one way thing? If you would like me to share it, I can. I just couldn't get it on the Zoom video chat, but I just called in by the phone. I had some technical
Oh, okay. You're calling on the phone, so you can't see the PowerPoint that I'm sharing.
I can see the PowerPoint.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you.
You can't hear. You can't hear.
I can see the PowerPoint, but I cannot hear you. All I'm seeing right now is the agenda, current situation, social distance, and why, and social distance, not isolation. And I saw that social distancing slide. What does it mean? Red light, yellow light, green light. But I'm not able to know. Is that the first slide?
No, it's not the first slide, but we will share it after this call. We will share this PowerPoint with everybody. So
Okay.
if you missed anything, you can look at it later.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So you don't want us to share what is going on with us, is that correct?
No. We really want you to share, but we'll get to it in 2 minutes.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Just wanted
Great.
to know.
Thank you. Okay, so a little bit, I gave an example for another communication that you can share with your community and the caregivers. Something that it's really easy to understand and see the guidelines, and we have it in few languages that we're going to share with you later. When should you keep your child home? So now the guidelines, at least in Washington State, is to stay at home as much as you can, but maybe outside of Washington State, or when you're considering meeting with other people, meeting friends, meeting families. So these should be the guidelines. Okay. KPL groups update. So we asked a few days ago if you can update us about closures, and we got a lot of updates. I'm sure that we didn't hear from everybody, but right now we know that in King County, right now we have like about 65% of the groups are closed. And I'm sure it's going to be higher than that if we'll get information from everybody. It's really important for us to keep this list of open or closed groups updated. We then give this information to our call center and to DCYF, and it's a valuable information for us to know if you are still open or not. So please update us if you haven't done it yet. So we don't have one guideline for all the groups to stay open or to close, and it's really according to the guidelines of your organization and the area that you're located in. But we see closure every day. More and more groups are closing right now. To those who are still meeting with their group, there are guidelines to safe and healthy practices in the group. And those guidelines talk about social distancing, hand washing, And also, we'll share information about toy washing that is really, really important in the group. 'Cause kids, of course, touch all the toys, put it in their mouth. It's really important that this area where you meet will stay as clean as possible. And another that I've been hearing lately from facilitators and from organizations is that, of course, they want to stay connected to the participants. And sometimes, you know, it wasn't a requirement until now, and it wasn't, there were no guidelines around sharing contact information from participants. But if they are willing to do it, I think it's important. We've heard about groups that closed, but still physically closed, but still meet on Facebook. They opened their own Facebook page. Some opened the WhatsApp group. Some opened WeChat group. So I think that for different communities, different platforms would work. But thankfully, today we have so many free platforms that is staying connected with all the participants. And I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to hear more from you, because we would love to support you in this process, from moving your support in your community to online tools as much as possible.
Hi, this is Kimberly speaking. Well, we just wanted to give some space for all of you to have an opportunity to share and speak with each other about what is happening right now with your groups, maybe the needs of your participants and families at this moment, given the current situation with COVID-19, as well as brainstorming ways on how we can support the KPL participants and families, also as well as you all as facilitators and affiliates. I know, Sucheta, if you're still on, you wanted to share a little bit about what your group is doing?
Yes. So what our group is doing is meeting on WhatsApp group, and so I send them a lesson plan with a craft activity, and I explain the lesson, and then send them what to read on a YouTube so that they can hear and look at the book, and then share some songs, and then share a craft activity. And once I share that craft activity, in a day or two, lots of parents, they take pictures of their kids of doing the same activity or a similar activity, and then post their pictures. What have they done about it? So for example, this week I shared, last week I shared spring, coming in spring, and how there is new life and stuff like that. And then I also shared a spring song on YouTube, and then I shared a craft activity of, you know, how you pop your popcorns in microwave, and then do a spring tree with the popcorns. And I did that with my granddaughter, and I shared that video with the whole class and the WhatsApp group. And then they also then send me pictures. Like my granddaughter is only 3 years old, so she just colored it with markers and then glued the popcorns and the popcorn tree that I had already drawn, the branches. And so some of the older kids at home, they in fact watercolored the branches, and they colored the backgrounds, and some of them they put grass. And so it was an amazing response from the moms and the families, because school is off and they really need this more than anything else. Then this week I also shared about St. Patrick's Day and history and why we celebrate St. Patrick's Day in United States, and how is it similar to that. And I shared I shared a book on YouTube video link, and I shared a song, and then I shared a St. Patrick's Day activity like pot of gold, how and a rainbow coming out of a craft activity. And the families, only few of families have shared it so far, but I'm sure by the end of the week, lots more pictures and videos and stuff get shared in. And I was so impressed that when I shared the activity and I said, what are the different words, like in the book, just talk about different words, like what is leprechaun, what is a fairy and stuff like that. And some of the moms just took those words and got into vocabulary words and talked with her daughter about it and stuff. So it's amazing. The response has been really, really amazing so far with my toddlers group. And we didn't get started right now. Our WhatsApp group has been there since the beginning. So we always share the pictures of the group after the class. Now we are sharing it before the class and what we do since there is no class. So that has been really, really amazing and worked for us.
Thank you, Sucheta. I think that's a really great example of an app that is free, that has a lot of different mediums of sharing information, pictures, videos, voice messages, and messaging, so that participants can still receive the same information, even though your group isn't meeting physically. And you had noted that this was something that you were using even before all of this began with COVID-19. So that's kind of an interesting thing to think about too. Groups right now maybe who didn't have something like that in place before, maybe that's something to consider in the future, so that they have something to fall back in when current events happen and they're no longer to meet in person. So that's a
right. We use these groups to just let them know what we are going to do next week and what is the theme going to be. And so if there is any festival or anything, we ask them to dress up and come prepared. Or we basically, this is our connecting with the families, different for different messaging. It's our system to give them some messages and to give them to stay connected with them. Basically, is we've been doing this since the group has started, and that's when the new moms sign in. I ask them to when they sign in at the front door, when they come in with their child, they sign in, and I ask, if you are new, please put new in front of your phone number and your email and your name, so that then I automatically add them. If I see somebody that they knew, then I add them to the group. So that way I have about 92 families in my WhatsApp group, but typically only 25 to 27 show up every week. So, and some of them have left and graduated the group, but they still like to stay connected, so, and see what's going on. So on big days, like when I have had the, we talked about vertebrate animals, and I had this reptile guy come in. I had about the whole gym was occupied with this when this reptile man came, because they all got the message through via WhatsApp that this reptile man is visiting with the animals, and so they all showed up. So that was an amazing, overwhelming response with the grandparents and moms and dads. So some of the dads even took off from work and came to see the reptiles in the North Bellevue Community Center. So
that's awesome. Thank you, Tita. That's a great example. Does anyone else want to share anything? Maybe they're doing something similar or very different, or perhaps they want to discuss a different kind of needs some of their participants are having that you may want to brainstorm a little bit in this space.
I would like to know if anybody has any new ideas so I can implement them.
And if people prefer, you can also send in a message in the chat box.
I don't see anybody in the chat box yet, though.
Not yet. Some other options that we have heard some groups start to do, similar to like starting a WhatsApp, is starting a Facebook page. Further, some groups are more comfortable with that. Also, I know there's one affiliate considering doing kind of like packages like KPL supplies and materials for families with materials like art supplies and whatnot that they can take for their young ones if they don't have those supplies at home. So that's another idea as well.
So people do this on Facebook as well?
Yeah, there are some groups that have let us know that just similar to what you're doing, Sucheta, on WhatsApp, they're using Facebook as a platform instead. I think they create like a group on that social media site, and that's how they're communicating during this time.
I see. Okay.
Hi, this is Teresa from Mother Mentors on Woodby
Hello.
Island. Hello. I love the idea that was shared. We do have a Facebook page on that we use. Every week we post what activities we're doing or events that are coming up, but I haven't used it as an interactive tool like was shared earlier. And so I'm interested in trying that and seeing not only as a way to kind of maybe once a week put out some learning songs, craft ideas, but also as a way for the caregivers to stay connected. So I have thought of having questions that maybe the caregivers could respond to each other about, with questions like, what are you learning about your family or yourself during this time? What are you finding challenging? Are there any successes that you feel proud of? So that we're kind of, the caregivers can quote unquote kind of talk to each other a little bit during this time. And I don't know how our community will respond to it, because we are so used to meeting in public or face to face. So, but I really love the idea that was shared earlier. And we would probably do that from our Facebook page that we have right now.
Thank you, Teresa. I would also, if you haven't yet looked, there are so many features on Facebook that exist now. So for example, you can stream live actually. So even if you're not meeting physically, if you still want to be virtually available for your participants during your typical KPL time, you could do a story time live stream on Facebook, for them as well. Or you could do that at a different time, but load that video up, and that's always an option. There are a lot of different, I think, features that could be used right now for a lot of benefit in terms of building that community on your social media platform.
So how do you do this live if they all have to be Facebook members, right? And to be able to do that live, is that how it works? Like if I would like to do my regular time KPL thing, I may not be able to do the free time because I have a free time, then I have this circle time, and then I have this craft time. So then I may not be able to do that free time activities, but I can certainly do the lesson and the craft activity and show them that. So if anybody has,
you have to have a Facebook account to do that. And I would also
all the other participants have to have it, and then they have to form a group or something like that. I'm not really a Facebook savvy person.
Yeah, and we can talk more individually if you have more questions later. But in a general sense, you can make a Facebook account for free, okay. And then within that account, you can create a private group or a closed group even for your KPL group to have that space to share and talk. I would also encourage you to, you could also consider making like a separate account for yourself, like a KPL account that you use for KPL things, separate than your personal one. So you could separate that That's also an idea as well. And that may be something worth considering.
I see. Somebody posted here on chat that they are doing this bags to be picked up. So they have a place where they are picking up the bags from. So because
Yeah, and
our
I
community center is closed, so I don't know
PPLC.
where do I go to that idea.
There is someone that did chat, and like Suchita just said, they are having projects and bags for caregivers to pick up that have craft materials so that they can bring home. So that's the way that they are serving their community during this time while the groups aren't meeting, which is a lovely idea.
Yeah, it is a great idea. And we have already prepared all the March material and everything, and now it's just I'm holding on to it. I don't know what to do with it. Because I always plan 2 months ahead of time, all my craft activities and everything. So I have everything handy and ready. I just don't know how to distribute it because our center is closed and we cannot meet in that vicinity.
So one idea that I heard is to pack some of the materials in small packages and maybe leave it somewhere outside your office or your building, and so people can come and pick it up. Works for some people, maybe some organization. It might not work for everybody, but that's just an idea. And I would love to hear more about general needs that you are hearing from families in your community, in your group. Basic needs. I heard about diapers needed and other stuff. So we would also like to hear more about those basic needs.
The main basic needs that my community, this is Suchita again, and I'm sorry I've been talking a lot, but I just wanted to convey what we have me. What we did was a lot of our families have been stranded because most of them are all on H1 visa, which is a work permit visa that their husbands have, and they are on a dependent visa. And every 3 years, they have to go back to India, get it stamped on their visa, and then come back. And some of them their visa is going to get expired, and then they are going to have to go back to India. But right now, in India, American embassy is closed down until they don't know when, and all the visa interviews have been cancelled. So in that situation, what did I do? So we also have come in touch with the immigration Indian immigration lawyer via South Asian Bar Association, and they have been guiding us on phone interviews as to what to do, and we've heard that they will not be penalized for that even if their e-visa expires, and it will be extended until they go back to India and get the visa stamp for that. And so families have been very stressed and very anxious, and so we've also went ahead and gotten some therapists on a pro bono basis and asked them to send them these resources if their families are in stressful situation and if have a lot of anxieties going on in that matter. And we have sent those resources out also to our communities and to our families in these times of. So on top of this coronavirus and all this food and all this typical lockdown in your home situation is going on, they have also been facing a couple of these things since they are immigrant families. And so we have also tackled down that and sent them to the proper resources. So those are some of the things that we have done also to reduce their anxiety level.
I've also heard the same thing from another affiliate too, with family, friend, and neighbor caregivers who actually were here temporarily, bringing their young ones to the KPL groups with intention of going back to their country of origin, but now can no longer do that because of the reality of what's happening with international travel. And so maybe we can talk about it later, and I can connect you with another affiliate that's also dealing with the same thing as well.
Oh,
So
thank you so much.
Yes, of course. Is there anyone else that would like to share before we move on? We really want this to be your time, so please feel free to ask any questions at all or share anything you feel like you need to.
I wanted to know how many groups do you have all over and how many are updating? You said 65%, but that does not give me a perspective of how many groups are actually active and how many are having face-to-face classes and how many are not having face-to-face classes as of March 1st or maybe March 2nd week or something like that. Is there any data with that regards?
Do you want to answer that one, Savit?
Yeah, so we divide our data into data that is for Washington State and whole Washington State, and data that is only for King County. So in Washington State, we have 150 groups, and we know of about 50% of them are closed. And King County in specific, we have, I think right now, 74 groups and about 65% of them are closed. But I think more than 65% closed. It's just that we didn't get the information. But I think that most of them, like a larger number, will be closed in King County.
All right.
Do we have any idea, like how long are we supposed to keep it closed?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
I think things are just changing too fast every day to have a firm answer on that. All right, so we're running a little behind on time. So I wanted to hand this over off to Nicole to talk about some resources before we wrap up.
Sure, thanks, Kim. These fact sheets can also be found in a couple of emails. One email was sent out with a letter from the KPL team, and these were all included, as well as the March newsletter. So we really encourage all of you to look up the King County Public Health site and really look at the facts versus there's just so much information out there right now. So making sure that we're reading the facts about it. And it's in many different languages. We will also email this PowerPoint out to each of you so that you will have it all as well. And just, we found this on the King County Public Health website. So it's just a reminder that illnesses do not discriminate and can be spread to everyone regardless of ethnicity and race. And I just felt like it was really important to say that. Some resources. We have compiled a list of resources. We have more than what's on here that we can get out to all of you. We're just gonna open a couple right now. One being the KPNL. Let me pull it up. And can you all see that?
Yeah, I can see that now. Surprisingly, my thing is on. That's great.
Are you all seeing the Play and Learn Pinterest page?
The Pinterest.
No, we don't see the
Or no?
page.
Okay, let me share that. So y'all can see it. Can y'all see it now?
Now, yeah.
Okay, great. So if you haven't been to our Pinterest page before, this is what it looks like. We have many boards, and we often add things here and there. So there are some really great resources on here, activities. So please, it's a free resource. It's under KP&L. And then we'll also, hopefully it'll let me share. Can you all see the next page I'm sharing?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So, this person is, I believe, responsible for Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. Anyone familiar with that book? It's a really cute book. And he is doing some doodles. And so we wanted to add that in there because it looks like a lot of fun. Also for yeah, virtual field trips. So there are art museums, some activities, zoos, and so you'll receive all of these as well. For older children, there's also you can download information on your activity books. You just have to fill out this little your email and name and all of that, and you'll receive some free stuff. Go back. All right. So I'll just quickly run through the list. We have Room and the Pinterest board that I just showed. There's also a website, Circle Time Fun. It looks like there's videos where people are reading stories and singing songs. Scholastic is offering free daily courses. And then also, just to remind all of you not to forget about our KPL lesson guides. I just featured a few because these are the everyday activity lesson guides. So things that, we're all doing every day, bath time, cooking, getting dressed. Some really great resources to share with caregivers. School-age children. Awesome. There's also a list of things for school-age children. I believe the first one, the amazing educational resources, just has like a lot of stuff you can look at. I went on there and there were some links that didn't work, but there are so many. So I would just sift through them and look at each of them. Mystery Science is just based on the science stuff. It looks like there's videos, PBS. For all ages, there's Stories Podcast, Cosmic Kids Yoga on YouTube is so much fun. It's just very interactive, and the person who does it, I just love the way she gets children involved. So just another really great resource. The virtual field trips and yes. So we also, like I said, have more, and so we are just adding to it each day. Something new comes out. It's amazing how many people are offering free resources right now for children. And so we just want you all to have as many resources as possible.
Can I add something, Nicole?
Yes, please.
I just wanted to say if there is a specific like need that your group has, like maybe these are useful, but you really need information on like free lunches and drop-off locations or whatever it may be, just let us know and we can pull together specifically more resources on a specific topic that is useful for you. We wanted this first webinar to kind of gauge what your needs are right now so that moving forward when we speak again that we could be even more equipped with more resources the next time we meet. So just let us know now or by phone or email or whatever it is, what your communities are looking for.
Oh, these resource slides is a great slide. Thank you so much. We'll definitely make a lot of use of this slide, of these resource slides.
The next resource is really just about cleaning toys. This was also a document that was sent out in an email, and it just has information on keeping toys clean, how to clean them. And so we just really felt a need to share with you all and also for you to share with your caregivers. And please take care of yourself. You know, we talk about that often, and we just really want to make sure you all are taking care of yourself, finding some way to do it. So I found this really cute little image online. Listen to that favorite song on repeat, talk to a friend, or in my case, I'm home with my pet all day and she just listens to me all day and I just chat to her and it makes me feel really good. Comfort food, fold laundry. I was just telling Zavit and Kim that I just cleaned my house like a lot on Saturday because that is what I do to kind of relieve some of that anxiety. Drawing, play, you know, just play if you can. Take some time out of your day to be outside. And so there are just so many ideas. So I'm wondering how you all are taking care of yourself and if any of you would like to share that, because I would love to hear.
Binge watch
Yeah.
Some of the things that you haven't done.
Right.
Some of the movies or some of the series that you've been watching and haven't gotten a chance to watch it. Just binge read the books and keep some comfort food close by, chocolate probably.
Yeah. Anyone else want to share what they've been doing? I know this is a tough time for a lot of people, and so we're just curious what you are all doing and just some
my
new
life
ideas.
And just been enjoying looking at just all the beautiful flowers outside and stuff.
Yeah. Thank you, Renee. I know that is so important just to get outside and breathe in that fresh air and just be still, right? Like listen to the sounds around you, smell the flowers. It really does really good things for our mental health.
It looks like someone put in the message box as well, listening to music, cranking it up, and disinfecting the house.
Yeah.
So FaceTiming family who lives far away.
Yeah.
That's great. I've been listening to a lot of Spanish music. I miss my family, and so it just like brings me joy to listen to Spanish music. And also I was telling Kim that I really want to learn more Spanish, and so I'm looking up lyrics in English just so I can understand what they're talking about. And so just something like that is kind of helping me stay centered too.
We also have another comment as well. Tim has said getting outside and gardening, which is awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Are living in locations where it's still allowed for us to be outside. Definitely, if that's an option. That's a great way to take care of yourself and be healthy.
Yeah.
So have another comment about Zooming with coworkers, which is a great way to just true. So again, like Zavit had said earlier, social distancing, not social isolation, right? So finding ways to
Yeah.
each other. And then Sucheta's also just added in walking in the neighborhood as well, which is what I have been doing every day.
And
Yeah.
I think it's really important to encourage the caregivers from your group to do the same.
Yeah.
Taking care of young kids, it's
Mhm.
challenging right now to have them at home. So they should take care of themselves.
I had one
Yeah.
request.
Sure.
Is it possible to have these people who have joined today or felt that this Zoom was useful to have our WhatsApp group or some Facebook group so that we can share ideas with, and bounce off of each other if they've done this, if they've done, because we are not able to meet right now in any of the workshops or anything like that. So if you can create a group and we can ask each other ideas periodically, that would be a great way to also help ourselves.
There is actually an affiliate in Washington State who has created a Facebook group
Mhm.
that has also invited others as well to join. So we can share that out as well. And then also this webinar will be a weekly webinar from now on
Mhm.
for the time being. So this will be a space for all of you to share ideas every week.
That's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Will it be at this time every week?
Not necessarily, and that's something that we'd like to hear from all of you as well, is what time works for all of you.
Mhm.
Keeping in mind that we do record this for those who can't join live, and also folks from around the country are joining in different time zones as well. So if you have any feedback on what time this could take place that works for a lot of people, please let us know.
Kind of leads into the open discussion. So I'm going to let Kim take over now.
Thank you. So we just wanted to give one more opportunity for folks to talk about anything that's on their mind during this time, any updates you have on your group, concerns you may have, your experience thus far, or comments or feedback. Again, just one last opportunity for this session to speak and say something if you would like.
Well, just to build on the request of another participant, if we find things online that work for our groups, like for example, Mother Mentors does have a Facebook page, which is open to the public. So if I offer some things or do some things on Facebook, other people are certainly welcome to, like check in and use any of my ideas. And likewise, if there are other people that have open or public Facebook pages that other facilitators like myself can, like look in and see what might be helpful to share with my group, maybe there's a way that as we get going on this, we can create a list. Like, I don't know of other Play and Learn Facebook groups, but if there are other ones on Facebook, it would be nice to share those ideas.
Thank you, Teresa.
You're welcome.
I like that idea a lot. I really want people to connect during this time. I'm thinking right now, and this may change as things progress and we're figuring out what we can do to support one another. An idea would be perhaps if you have a resource that you would like to share with others, you could also send that to us, me, Nicole, or Zavi, and every week when we have this webinar, we can actually update this ongoing list of resources we have so that it's current every week based on the resources you all give us. So that's an idea as well. And then if you are operating some kind of social media platform on your own within your group that's not connected to child care resources, but you're doing that on your own, and you do want to share that with others, you are totally autonomous to do that with other affiliates or connecting with people during the Zoom right here, right now, to exchange that information as well. How does that sound at the least?
Sounds good. I mean, if we have ideas, we will definitely share it with you so you can share it with others. That's fine too.
Thank you. And we also have a question that just came in. It's a good question. The question is, Do you know if there are copyright issues if we want to read a book over Facebook and other platforms, and how that recording available for families to view? I always err on the side of being cautious, and I think actually there may be some copyright concerns over that. I feel like Nicole may have a better idea about what that may look like, because we talk a lot about that with photos a lot during our webinars. With the videos, I don't know if it's different, but we will look into that and get back to you. Thank you for bringing that up. That is something to think about.
A really great question.
I would add though that in the resources that Nicole just went over, which we will also email out a full complete list, there was a link. I think it was like a Stories podcast website. I found it, I believe. And it's actually a website you can go in and have listen to stories or watch stories, I think. And that is all something that's been like, it's established. You don't need to worry about copyright issues for that. So maybe it might be worthwhile using a resource like that instead.
I love that slide. I'm going to use it like right away. Because it takes so long for me to go and look at the site and watch myself, see if it is appropriate to send it to the families or not, whether it's culturally sensitive or not, and whether it is child proof, you know what I mean, like whether it's okay for children to see that and stuff like that. So it takes a long time for me to research, which is readily available by KPL. I would be really comfortable sending it to the families, especially the story books and the story podcast and all the other kinds of list of things that you have, resources that you have suggested on that slide.
I'm so glad that you're all finding the resources useful. And it looks like Heidi just also added another one that we will also add to our list. It's called Stories from Space. They have astronauts reading books in space.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So really just whatever, this is really great, just like sharing resources and brainstorming ways to offer support to the KPL participants so that they can have some normalcy in their routines, and for the kids to have some normalcy too, because, if they were going every week and we're in a rhythm and doing really well and all of their lives have been interrupted and they're not getting these kinds of supports, we want to make sure that we're addressing that.
And Kim, just a second, I want to ask a question regarding the Facebook groups. Whoever has a Facebook group, is this an open group or is it closed?
I can only speak for ours. Ours is an open group.
Okay.
We don't post pictures of children on this group. This is one that we use for sharing information, but it is open, and anyone in our anyone can follow us.
Okay. Yeah, and I think it's up to you if you open, of course, WhatsApp group is more, or WeChat group are more intimate, but if you open it on Facebook, it's up to you if you want to, and the participant, of course, if you want to keep it open or closed.
And someone has just put into the chat, thank you so much, regarding the copyright issues with reading books. It is actually, based on her findings, that it is illegal. So please do try to carefully, as you're sharing things on your social media platforms, please consider this before you do that. So again, I think it's really good to lean on resources that already exist for those types of things like songs and stories. And we will try our best to continue to expand our list so that you can use those, so that you don't feel like you have to recreate them and possibly get into some copyright legal challenges, because that's definitely not something we want you to have to navigate. And like we said, this will be a weekly webinar, and moving forward, Nicole, if you could change the slide to the next one.
Sure.
Thank you. We just want to know what is most
Oh, I'm wondering if she.
Is it the
She got,
same day at least, or the day will be different?
useful for you, and let some feedback if you had some.
Oh,
So
Kim.
we're not quite sure. We haven't planned the next date for it, but if it is useful to have it at a consistent day and time, please.
That will be nice.
Okay, that's good to know. And then also for the topics as well, if you have feedback now, or you could give it to us later via email or phone, please let us know. We want this to be based off of what you need. So if next week you want more resources, or you want activity ideas, or more support navigating how to support your community on your social media platforms, whatever it is, please let us know, and we will craft the next webinar based on your needs. And that will be every week. And I think that will change constantly as the situation evolves. So we will send out a registration link to the next weekly webinar after this. And we also wanted to make a plug on another webinar that we have that's on Thursday this week at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Coast time. And this was a webinar that we had planned before the COVID situation happened. And this is kind of a bit of a piece of normalcy for us, I think I should say. Something that we all hope you can join in on. It's going to be geared toward learning through cooking in the home setting, which would be really useful for a lot of you right now who are at home with little kiddos. Nicole and I will be leading this, and we will also have a guest speaker. Her name is Rachel, who is very involved with this curriculum. So please register if you're interested, and that will also be recorded later on.
When is this? When is this?
This is this Thursday on the 19th at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Coast time. So that'll be 1:30 p.m. East Coast time.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. And any other questions you have? Thank you all of you for your flexibility. This is very much like emergent curriculum, just moving based on the needs of participants. So we want to thank you for all the work that you're doing during this time.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And maybe the next slide, Nicole. I think we have a cute photo. There it is. Jen on a happy note. Just thank you so much for everything that you're doing. We know it's a lot of work and it's an unusual time, but we have a supportive KPL community that spans across our country, in our state, in our county. And so we're all here for each other. So this will be a weekly support session for all of you. And if you don't have any questions now or comments, please give them to us later on at your own convenience. The next slide is a list of our contact information. You're free to call us well. We are able to access our voicemails remotely. So we're checking those every day. And then we're also on email every day as well. And that is all of our contact information. Okay.
Thank you so much for putting this together.
Nicole.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Oh, no worries at all. Does anyone have anything else to add before we close for today?
Okay.
Stay healthy.
Thank you so much. And,
Yes, stay healthy.
we are here to support your needs and your family needs.
Thank you.
Thank you all, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.